right, welcome everybody to the Town of Waterboro Planning Board meeting for May 1st, 2024. Angela, can we start with roll call?
Rick Madruga.
Here.
James Farias.
Here.
Rebecca Higgins.
Here.
Stacy Walker.
Here.
Diane Gray is absent this evening.
All right. Next thing on the agenda is minutes from previous meetings. We have the minutes from the April 17th, 2024 meeting. Has everybody had a chance to review those, and are there any changes, questions?
That was good.
Okay. If I could get a motion to approve the minutes. Right. So,
I motion to approve the April 17th, 2024 minutes.
okay.
I'll second that.
All right. All those in favor? All right. Next on the agenda is public hearing, which we do not have tonight. So next thing is old business. First thing for old business is Joyce Barker, 628 Main Street, Waterboro, conditional use application. So, yeah, Joyce, if you want to come up here. So we met previously, and Michaela has given us kind of a summary of everything that's happened up to this point. But just to kind of summarize, we've had a few different meetings about this, and I guess the last meeting was there were, because of the wellhead zone, several conditions that the applicant needed to meet in order for us to approve the application. So I think probably our best bet is to go through those items, and Joyce, to have you present your response to it, and then we can go from there. So I think the first thing, and the thing that seems to be the challenge at this point, is the first thing was a nutrient management plan must be provided for all agriculture activities within the wellhead protection district. The summary here, the feedback from the town, is that at this point you're not willing to share that with the town?
I was told not to. I can share with you that I've got one done, which means that they have approved my plan.
Okay.
But it is confidential between the Department of Agriculture and the farm, is what they told me.
Okay. Michaela, what is your, or Mike, what is your?
All yours.
My understanding is that it's not proprietary information because it's in the wellhead protection zone, and this impacts the water supply for the town, and so the town and the water district kind of have a right to know if the water is going to be impacted negatively. That's my understanding.
Okay, but they would not have approved me if it was impacting the water supply at any point at all. You had said at the last meeting that you would feel more comfortable if I had a soil scientist come out. Paul Hershey, who is the one that wrote up my plan, he had Mark Hedrick, who is the head of the Nutrient Management Department and the top soil scientist in the state of Maine, David, I think it's Rourke, was at my land and did the testing. He stated that my soil, the second layer of soil, absorbs any urine, so there is no need, it will not go any further than that second one. They've also stated that they don't need a bigger pasture because they'll be moved around the property. But I had a soil scientist come out. I had to pay for the soil scientist, I had to pay for the nutrient management plan. At this point, the way they explain it to me is that they are now monitoring my farm because I paid them. They've approved it knowing that it's a wellhead 2 protection, knowing that it's resource protection and conservation land. They wouldn't have approved it if it was going to affect the water at all.
So even,
No.
So even though you had them come out, and yes, what you have may or may not be not for public use, private, they didn't give you any type of certification, reduced
I can give you
summary
the
or
signature
outline?
pages, but the actual contract between,
So the signature pages wouldn't have the entire agreement of what
No,
they did.
they won't.
So, but they wouldn't agree to do any kind of certification that they did all this without
all
disclosing
you
all the
need,
info?
yes. Mark Hedrick, who is the head of the Nutrient Management Department, told me that what is protocol is that you would call him to verify that there is a nutrient management plan in place for my farm.
And I rely on you to help me with that.
Our ordinance states that it's the applicant's
The
burden.
applicant's responsibility. correct?
That's
Yeah.
our ordinance in regarding the pasture size.
Yep.
Excuse me, a little tongue-tied here today. Regarding the pasture size, that's a requirement of our ordinance. So even if the nutrient management plan is okay with that, we still will require them to have a larger pasture.
Okay, but they are not browsers. They explained to me that the reason they have that in place is for animals that graze.
They
Goats do not graze,
Well,
they
here's what I
browse.
think, we can discuss what goats do and don't do, but what we're here tonight is to discuss what's in our zoning and what we can approve based on
Right.
what is in writing, right? And one of those requirements, based on our zoning and what's here, is for you to supply that information, and it's your
And
responsibility.
I did. This right here is written up.
But this is not the nutrient management.
No, and you're not gonna get the nutrient
Okay,
management.
so then, we are where we are, right? At this point, because our job here is to abide by these rules.
Correct.
And to make our decision based on what is presented to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
But with the nutrient management plan, my farm is no longer being monitored by the town. It's now stepped up to be monitored by the nutrient management department. I have signatures here stating that there has been a nutrient management plan put in place. I have Paul Hershey's license number, the date that it has been sent to the nutrient management department. And I have Mark Hedrick, who told me that the town needs to call him to verify that there is one in place, and that's all that needs to be done.
Go ahead.
I'm sure that I've had some experience with the Department of Ag in local jurisdiction. It's very clunky transition, to say the worst, to say the least, excuse me. However, I don't think that the Department of Agriculture oversees local jurisdiction. So it doesn't matter whose responsibility it is to call who.
Right.
But somewhere, with it being the applicant's burden, then she could produce some manner of proof with
Right
this, with the signature.
These are the documents that state that he has done my plan.
Did we ask you to, was she asked to supply those for this meeting?
Yes.
That was not what I received. I don't know about anybody else.
I did
Does-
not receive signature
received
pages either.
This is what I received.
I received
This is
a.
summary.
These are pages
Yeah.
stating who did it, his address, his phone number, his license number, the date that my nutrient management plan will expire, and that he has sent it up to Mark Hedrick.
This is all that we received. So we just have some bullet points.
Okay,
on it.
so then there's 3
This-
pages
this
here that
here.
I need to give to you.
Oh, good.
Right?
Yeah.
They're missing something.
Yeah, okay, I think that's
That's what I
the issue, is that for us, we're looking at some bullet points and there's no, like.
Okay, so do you want to get copies of these then?
Yes, I think that would be
Yeah, these
great.
are all like recommendations and stuff.
So,
The floor and,
so I guess I'll ask the board, do we want to postpone this to the next meeting so we have time to review this information, or?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then we can reach out to Mr. Hendrick. and-
Yeah, take the steps.
I did send an email to Angela to let her tell you that you need to call him to verify.
Okay. What's your, again, you just want to say?
Well, just, I'd recommend that the board ask the applicant to link them through email or phone, because Waterboro ordinance does ask the applicant to provide that information. So it's not the
Okay.
responsibility of the board to go searching for.
Correct, great.
Well, they told
Or
me
the
they're not going to
code
give you a
office.
copy of the nutrient management plan.
That's fine.
They're going
Well,
to
No, we just need to,
verify.
we
I
just need to
think
know
at this
that they
point, we
did it
need
and
all the
who did it.
documentation
Exactly.
that
So,
you
and he
have
said that
for-
he would verify that if you just call Mark Hedrick, he will verify that there is one on file.
I think our next step is to
Maybe.
see all of the documentation you have, so
That you're
that,
willing to share.
that you're willing to share, then we can determine whether that's ample
adequate, yeah.
information, and then we can make a determination.
A phone call is a phone call, just
Right.
that.
Yeah.
There's no proof.
When I spoke to
Email,
Paul,
yes.
yeah, when Paul Hershey told me that this was confidential between them and me, I asked him to write something up, which is what this is. I had asked him to write something up for the
Okay.
town so they
Yeah,
could
well,
see
I don't
what
have
was
that.
looked at and what was done.
Okay.
So he did write this up, and his information is in here as well.
Was
If
that
you need to
attached,
verify.
you didn't attach that to the other 2 pages that you sent though, because I only got 2 pages.
Yeah,
Great.
I got this bullet thing, that's all recommendations.
Yeah, there should have been 3 pages that were sent, but the last pages were not. I brought them tonight.
Oh,
Yes.
Could you could you call Mr. Hendrick and give him that information and tell him to please email me and we'll bridge the
Definitely.
gap?
Yep, I can do that.
Thank you.
So do we think next meeting is ample time here?
I do.
Okay, okay.
But if you need to verify that this was written by Paul Hersey, you can contact him.
Right, well, let's have him reach out to, if
Yep.
you could reach out to him, to have him reach out to Mike.
And then we'll discuss the
Yeah.
differences between our ordinances, and
Yeah.
we're not gonna get into the fine details of your plan.
Right.
But we'll figure out where the gaps are.
You gotta have some
How,
kind of-
how do we get by this? Okay, our
Okay.
ordinance says one thing, you're saying something else.
Right,
Let's find some sort of collaboration here.
Yep.
Because unfortunately, Joyce, you're not the only one we're dealing with, so.
All right, so I think we're all in agreement. Can I get a motion to postpone the application for 628 Main Street to the next meeting, which would be May 15th, right?
Yep.
Yep, May 15th.
Yep, 15th.
I'll make a motion to postpone the application for, what's it, 628 Main Street till the next meeting, May 15th, 14th?
15th.
Yep, 15th.
15th, yeah.
I'll second that. Okay. All those in favor?
Sound good?
We're good for tonight, Joyce. I'll see you again.
Thank you.
See you again.
Yeah.
Almost there.
Almost there. All right, next on the agenda was RSU Modular Classroom Finding of Facts, 86 West Road, Waterboro, Andy Johnston, ARC. All right, so do I read all of one, starting with number 1, right? Okay. All right. Town of Waterboro Planning Board, finding of facts and conditions of approval. So this is, the site plan name is RSU 57 Modular Classroom. The property owner is RSU 57. Site location 86 West Road, Waterboro, Maine 04087. Size and number of lots / unit, it is 1 unit, 4,200 square foot building. Zoning district is village. Assessor's map lot, map 1, lot 39. Applicant, RSU 57. Information reviewed by planning board, which was staff reviews, which is public works, fire chief, planner, code enforcement officer, that is checked off. Site walk completed by board, that was not applicable, and state federal reviews, that has been completed. There are 2 conditions associated with this. The first one is window protection from adjacent baseball field. And number 2 is applicant shall comply with all written materials and oral agreements submitted to the board as part of the application process. This date was approved on April 17th, 2024. Do you have to read who was present? All right. So, the Waterboro Planning Board has reviewed the above noted development utilizing the Waterboro standards for reviewing land site plans and the Waterboro zoning ordinance. Based on the application and materials submitted in support of the application, together with the evidence submitted at the public hearing on the application, the Planning Board makes the following findings with respect to the standards of Article 2, Section 2.10 of zoning ordinance listed below. Number 1, the proposed development meets the definitions and/or requirements set forth in the zoning ordinance. The standard is met. There is a note here, the project is located within the village zone where schools are an allowed use. Everybody, we're good? Good. Okay. Number 2, the proposed development will not create fire safety hazards by not providing adequate access to the site or to the buildings on the site for emergency vehicles, adequate dry hydrants, or adequate access to off-site dry hydrants, and from there to the site. Standard is met. There is a note that says site currently has adequate travel area. The building will be sprinkled per governing requirements. Good. Number 3, the proposed exterior lighting will not create hazards to motorists traveling on adjacent public streets, be adequate for the safety of occupants or users of the site, or will damage the value and diminish the usability of adjacent properties. Standard is met. There's a note that says exterior lighting will be downcast, full cutoff wall packs. Good. Okay. The provisions for buffers and on-site landscaping provides adequate protection to neighboring properties from detrimental features of the development. Standard is met. There's a note here that says the classroom is approximately 600 feet from West Road and 300 feet from the side property line with a wooded buffer area. Good. Proposed development will not have, number 5, the proposed development will not have any significant detrimental effect on the use and peaceful enjoyment of the abutting property as a result of noise, vibrations, fumes, odor, dust, glare, or other cause. Standard is not applicable. Number 6, the provisions for vehicular loading and unloading and parking and for vehicular and pedestrian circulation on the site and onto adjacent public streets will not create hazards to safety or will not impose significant burdens on public facilities, which could be avoided by reasonable modifications to the plan. Standard is met. There is a note here that says there will be sidewalks and curbing in place with designated handicap parking on site, and there is adequate travelway for safety, equipment, and vehicular traffic.
Good.
Number 7, the bulk, location, height, or design of the proposed buildings, structures, or paved areas, or the proposed use thereof will not have a significant detrimental effect on private development on adjacent properties or on the value of the adjacent properties, which could be avoided by reasonable modifications to the plan. Standard is met. There's a note that says modular classroom is on the current high school complex adjacent to the main school building already existing on site. Good. Number 8, the design of the site will not result in significant flood hazards or flood damage and is in conformance with the applicable flood hazard protection requirements. Standard is met. This project is not in the flood zone. We're good? Number 9, adequate provisions have been made for the disposal of wastewater or solid waste or for the prevention of ground or surface water contamination. Standard is met. It says here 1,000-gallon tank has been added and will be tied to the existing subsurface waste system on site. Good. Number 10, adequate provisions have been made to control erosion or sedimentation, that this is non-applicable. Number 11, adequate provisions have been made to handle storm water runoff or other drainage problems on the site, and any proposed stormwater detention ponds are adequate to serve stormwater on or from the site. This is not applicable. Number 12, the proposed water supply will meet the demands of the proposed use and is adequate for fire protection purposes. The standard is met. It has a note, the building will be tied into the existing water supply on site. Number 13, adequate provisions have been made for the transportation, storage, and disposal of hazardous substances and materials as defined by state law and hazardous waste ordinance. That is not applicable. Number 14, the proposed use will not have an adverse impact on significant scenic vistas or on significant wildlife habitat, which could be avoided by reasonable modification of the plan. Is not applicable. And number 15, the project will not increase nitrate, nitrogen concentrations in surface or groundwater at the property line of the site in excess of the state of Maine's drinking water standards. If groundwater contains contaminants in excess of the primary drinking water standards and the project is to be served by on-site groundwater supplies, the applicant shall demonstrate how water quality will be improved or treat to meet the applicable standards. This is non-applicable. Based on the above noted findings, the Waterboro Planning Board votes to approve with the conditions noted above. Any questions, concerns, edits, changes, thoughts, dreams?
Do you care about typos?
Where?
Second page, first blue paragraph, Waterboro, it says site plans, the S is missed. And there's no, oh, that's consistent throughout, never mind, that's fine.
Good.
Yep, good with that.
So can I have a motion to approve with the change presented by Stacy?
I motion to approve the findings of facts for RC 57 module classroom with the one typographical error corrected.
Second.
All those in favor? All right, so next on the agenda, Waterboro Woodyard, findings of facts, Chadbourne Ridge Road, Steve Blake, BH2M. So. All right. Town of Waterboro Planning Board, findings of facts and conditions of approval. Site plan name is Waterboro Woodyards. Property owners, Waterboro Woodyards LLC. Site location is Chadbourne Ridge Road, North Waterboro. Size and number of lots, units, it's an 8-lot subdivision. Zoning district, agricultural, residential, and farm and agricultural. Bless you. Assessor's map and lot, map 14, lot 44T. Applicant is Waterboro Woodyards LLC. Staff reviews, public works, fire chief, planner, code enforcement has been completed. Site walk completed by board that was not applicable, and state and federal reviews that has been reviewed. There are 3 conditions associated with this approval. Number 1, lots 1, 2, and 3. Plot plans must give measurements from the front lot line to the rear of the critical terrestrial habitat area. Number 2, infrastructure must be complete to the base layer of pavement, including stormwater infrastructure, in addition to providing a bond for the completion of the finished pavement prior to the issuance of building permits. Lot 8 is exempt from this condition of approval. And number 3, applicant shall comply with all written materials and oral agreements submitted to the board as part of the application process. This was also approved on April 17th, 2024. Okay. The Waterboro Planning Board has reviewed the above noted development utilizing the Waterboro standards for reviewing land site plan and the Waterboro zoning ordinance. Based upon the application, the materials submitted in support of the application, together with the evidence submitted to the public hearing on the application, the Planning Board makes the following findings with respect to the standards of Article 2, Section 2.10 of the zoning ordinance listed below. Number 1, the proposed development meets the definitions and/or requirements set forth in the zoning ordinance. Standard is met. There's a note, the subdivision is in the AR and FA zones that allow for single-family residences. Number 2, the proposed development will not create fire safety hazards by not providing adequate access to the site or the buildings on the site for emergency vehicles, adequate dry hydrants, or adequate access to off-site dry hydrants, and from there to the site. The standard is met. There's no notes on that one. Number 3, the proposed exterior lighting will not create hazards to motorists traveling on adjacent public streets, be inadequate for the safety of occupants or users of the site, or will damage the value and diminish the usability of the adjacent properties. That is non-applicable. Number 4, the provisions for buffers and on-site landscaping provides adequate protection to neighboring properties from detrimental features of the development. This is also not applicable. Number 5, the proposed development will not have significant detrimental effect on the use and peaceful enjoyment of abutting property as a result of noise, vibrations, fumes, odor, dust, glare, or other cause. This is also not applicable. Number 6, the provisions for vehicular loading and unloading and parking and for vehicular and pedestrian circulation on the site and onto adjacent public streets will not create hazards to safety or will not impose significant burdens on public facilities which could be avoided by reasonable modification of the plan. That is also not applicable. Number 7, the bulk, location, height, or design of proposed buildings, structures, or paved areas or the proposed uses of thereof will not have a significant detrimental effect on private development or adjacent properties or on the value of adjacent properties which could be avoided by reasonable modifications of plan. That is not applicable. There is a note, though, that says structures are typically single-family residences. Number 8, the design of the site will not result in significant flood hazards or flood damage and is in conformance with the applicable flood hazard protection requirements. The standard is met. There is a note that says DEP, NRPA, and Army Corps of Engineers permits are in place, as well as stormwater management plans. Number 9, adequate provisions have been made for the disposal of wastewater or solid waste or for the protection of ground or surface water contamination. The standard is met. There's a note that says residences residences will have individual subsurface waste systems installed. Number 10, adequate provisions have been made to control erosion or sedimentation. Standard is met. There's a note that says sediment erosion control features will be in place during construction. Number 11, adequate provisions have been made to handle stormwater runoff or other drainage problems on the site and any proposed stormwater detention ponds are adequate to serve stormwater on or from the site. The standard is met. There's a note that says stormwater management plans are in place with level spreaders constructed. Number 12, the proposed water supply will meet the demands of the proposed use and is adequate for the fire protection purposes. Standard is met, and there's a note that says each residence will be serviced by a private well. Number 13, adequate provisions have been made for the transportation, storage, and disposal of hazardous substances and materials as defined by state law and the hazardous waste ordinance that is not applicable. Number 14, the proposed use will not have any adverse impact or significant scenic vistas or significant wildlife habitat which could be avoided by reasonable modifications of the plan. The standard is met. There is a note that says original plan was for 11 lots, decreased to 8 due to discovery of historical homestead on site. Number 15, the project will not increase nitrate, nitrogen concentrations in surface or groundwater at the property line of the site in excess of the state of Maine drinking water standards. If the groundwater contains contaminants in excess of the primary drinking water standards and the project is to be served by the on-site groundwater supplies, the applicant shall demonstrate how water quality will be improved or treated to meet applicable standards. That is non-applicable in this situation. So based on the above findings of facts, the Waterboro Planning Board votes to approve with the conditions noted above. Yes, sir.
We worked on getting a bond amount. I don't know if you
Oh, okay.
put that in there, in the findings of facts. Or is that something the selectmen approve for the final code of payment? Because we're not giving any permits until
Right, until.
the initial road construction is done, but we'll still need to require a bond for
Right.
the finished coat. So we have a number for that, so would that go to the selectmen, or would that go to the planning board for a recommendation, or you could always put it in your findings of facts, is what I was thinking.
Meaning
Is it too late?
instead of 3 conditions, we'd have a sub.
Or just a
Conditions
side note
too?
saying bond total due $70,875.
Right, so just add that as an addition under that, yeah.
Sure.
So I could, what was that? Condition number 2, maybe just add a sentence afterward that says bond amount equals
Yep,
the dollar amount.
70, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So the edit will be to number 2. So right now it reads infrastructure must be complete to the base layer of pavement, including stormwater infrastructure, in addition to providing a bond for the completion of the finished pavement prior to the issuance of building permits. Lot E is exempt from this condition of approval. We're just gonna add another sentence that says, total amount of the bond to equal $70,875.
To equal what?
785, I think.
7,875.
70,000.
Oh.
Yeah, 70, yeah.
That's
Ain't that
Hearing them read out loud.
Yep.
Number 2,
Of the conditions?
yep,
Okay.
no, of the standards.
Yep, okay.
On page 2.
Yep.
I think I wanna add in there, standard is met, and then each individual residence will be serviced with, residential sprinkler system.
Oh, okay, yep, yep. Anything else?
Same typo as the other one. The template fix, we'll be all set, right?
All right, so if I could get a motion to approve the finding of facts and conditions for Waterboro Woodyards based on the changes discussed and approved?
I propose a motion to approve the finding of facts for Waterboro Woodyard with the addition of the bond statement for number 2 of the conditions. And on page 2, number 2, adding that residents will have sprinkler systems.
I second that.
All those in favor? All right. All right. Next on the agenda is new business, which we have none of. Next is communications. Angela, do you have anything to do? Next is miscellaneous. Anything to throw out there? Leaves us with adjournment. So if I could get a motion to adjourn.
My motion to adjourn.
I'll second that motion to adjourn.
All those in favor? All right.